Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a follow-up reading on Naya Rivera. She is the former actress of Glee cast, and if you haven't heard about it, she was found in Lake Piru or Piru? However it's pronounced. They presumably at this time are pending further identification from the coroner's office, but it has come out that they have found and recovered a body that is presumably to be hers. So I did a reading a couple of days ago, and in the reading I had said, I laid out my tarot spread, the tarot spread, and I did a reading. And I said that I didn't feel her energy to be connected with the physical world anymore. I did feel that there was definitely foul play, and I did feel that she was no longer alive, unfortunately. And the only thing that I was not certain of, and this is the thing where, again, psychics are not always 100%, and I'm always taking ownership of something that if I'm not correct, etc. So I said in the reading, because this is what I felt from spirit, was that her body possibly wasn't going to be recovered. Now, the fact is that her body was recovered, but I wasn't sure. And I said in that reading, so if you haven't checked it out, go and check out that reading that I did. And I said, and a lot of colleagues also said, and they felt the same way as well. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about before I actually get into a follow-up reading, which I'll be doing on this video. But the first thing that I want to say is that if you feel uncomfortable or you feel like I'm exploiting the family by doing this reading, then you may want to click off, because this reading is not going to be for everybody. I have a lot of trolls that come onto my page and that feel that I'm doing this reading for views or whatnot, and that's not the case. I don't have to do this reading. I do the reading for my rays of light, which are my fans and my supporters. They're not just one-time people who come onto my channel just to look at something. And if you're that bothered by a reading that is done by a psychic, why are you even on my channel? So again, viewer discretion is advised as we get into the reading, but there's a couple of things that I want to share. The first thing is that I feel like there's still definitely foul play, and that's something that I will look into in this reading that I'll be doing. I still feel that very much so. The fact that the body was recovered days after is very, very strange, and I'll tell you why. They have claimed that lake is very murky. The water is very dark. There's hardly any visibility on that lake itself. But everything that people have speculated that she had committed suicide because of the video footage that was captured, which shows an unidentified vehicle that was parked there, but also they saw that the way that she parked was not straight, and it looks like almost like a person would be under the influence, or from a legal perspective, from a police perspective. A lot of times those are indications or assumptions that people aren't necessarily like that. There could be another assumption is that potentially maybe she was being blackmailed and she was rushing, and when a person is rushed, they are not going to do that, park straight. If you're in a rush, you don't think straight. I do feel like her mindset was not thinking straight, but I do not feel like this was a suicide at all, and I have to stick by that because that's what I felt, and I really trust my gift and I trust spirit. I do feel like there was a potential stalker situation, and I do feel like there was definitely foul play, and I do feel like perhaps she was in a rush because the way that she looked was very rushed, not even holding her son's hand as she was going along that pier. Now, the whole thing is that a lot of people have seen, and even the investigators and whatnot have come out in commentary on the media has said that there was a lot of people that were spotted that day on the lake. So there was a lot of people. My thing is that a body that has gone through rigor mortis, right, and you are a drowned victim, my understanding, and again, I could be completely wrong on this, and that's fine, is that a body eventually, will come up to the surface and float because of the gases, the natural gases of the body, of the water, the chemicals in the water, and, all that scientific stuff. That a body will end up floating. Now, if they did I don't know if they did any aerial views flying over with a helicopter, but a body would not be that difficult to spot again if you're going on an aerial view and seeing it. But the fact that the body appears mysteriously 5 days later, or however many days later now it's been, raises some questions. Where was that body really? A lot of people had speculated or said that they thought that perhaps her hair got tangled under the water, and they were never going to find the body, or that's why they couldn't find the body. But they actually have confirmed and come out and said that they had gone and they had sent people, these rescue team divers, into the lake itself and to the bottom of the lake while they were still harnessed with ropes and whatnot. And it was almost like Braille going through, you know, like Braille. When you are blind, you have they have a system called Braille where you feel by touch, and that's how you read, right? Well, that's kind of like how they describe the situation at the lake itself. Again, everything for me is pointing towards homicide, but again, it's too perfect, the scenario. It's too perfect of the crime because of the fact that it happened on a lake and her son was still on the boat. So it raises a lot of questions. And they found, apparently there's a lot of conflicting reports, but they found the son sleeping on the boat. So from the time that he got on the boat himself and he went to sleep, what happened to Naya's body? What happened to her? Was somebody underneath the water? Was somebody on a jet ski? Why isn't there anybody else that would have seen her, since there were so many people on the lake? Was there somebody potentially on the boat itself, hidden in the boat itself? Maybe there was like a secret compartment. Again, this is like just something that I'm talking to you about and throwing different scenarios up so that you can kind of think about it. But the whole fact that her body was found days later, and I'm not to talk bad about the police officers or the sheriff department, whatnot, when they do these investigations, because I know that they work very hard in recovering bodies. So kudos to them for recovering her body and giving the family some kind of closure if this is potentially her body that has been rescued and found and recovered. But a lot of times, and I'm just saying this is just my opinion, it's easier to mark a case as a drowning or an accidental death by drowning, and not really further pursue or investigate, because it takes manpower, it takes resources, and it takes money, and it takes time. And it's easier to close cases when you have an autopsy from a coroner, and when a coroner when coroners do their autopsies, a lot of times they can be wrong, and they have opened up. There's been many cases where they go back and the coroners are wrong. Now, I know a lot of people are probably listening to this and thinking you're just reaching, but I'm not really reaching. It is the truth. A lot of times coroners will see things, go off of toxicology reports, etc., and then then they give that back to the, whoever in the law enforcement, the investigators, or the actual sheriff's department, and they rule it, have a definitive answer. There's a lot of questions about her disappearance and the recovery of this body and what happened to her. So I definitely feel like they are definitely going to do that and come out and say that it was an accidental suicide, or not an accidental, that it was an accidental drowning, or that she maybe have had substances in her body. But again, I feel like that body was not in the lake, and that's why they did not find that body in the lake until now. I feel like the body would have been, it was all staged to find the body, because again, people want some answers. But these are one of the things I feel like the killer, or this homicide team that were involved, they want to make it look like it was a drowning, accidental. That way it's case closed and nobody else pursues it anymore. But again, there's a lot of us that are spiritually awoke, that have a strong connection to spirit, and that know what is going on, regardless of what is put out into the media. And that's why I'm here, and I have my channel to help with these cases. I don't like doing these cases because it is physically exhausting, and I feel a lot of that energy for days after. But this is a reading that I'm going to do regardless, because a lot of you have asked me to do it, and I am very, very thankful that I have your support. And we'll just get into it then, okay? So there's going to be a couple questions that I'm going to ask Spirit Today I'm going to be working with the Modern Witches Tarot deck. But again, I don't want people to get it twisted that when I do my readings, I'm not necessarily just relying on tarot itself. I am using my intuitive abilities. These are God-given abilities, which are clairvoyance, clairsentience, and my mediumship gift to give you the insight or the tea from spirit. So it's kind of hard to understand. A lot of people that are viewing me and viewing this, you know, today are asking, well, how, because I've had these questions come up just recently, just like a few hours ago. How is it that you use your gift to know if somebody is alive or is dead? And how I can explain it to you is that when a person is alive and you're tapping into that energy, the energy feels very different than when someone is dead. The energy of someone alive is very strong, and you pick up a lot of things sometimes very easily through your psychic abilities, not necessarily your mediumship abilities, because it's easier to pull from the ethereal, whatever you want to call it, from the spirit world, those insights. And because somebody is still living, breathing, they're tangible. It's a physical body that still has a soul contained in it, and it is still here in the physical world. A body that is no longer here in the physical world, that is dead, is in the spiritual realm. It's a different vibration, and it's a different energy, and it feels almost like a disconnectedness. That's what you kind of feel, is that there's some kind of disconnectedness that is going on within this person's energy field. And so that's how I know that someone has crossed over or is no longer with us here in the physical world. So I just wanted to you know, make that statement, because I feel like a lot of people are not aware of how our gifts work, and they think that, oh, you're just making this stuff up. But you know, a lot of people were hoping, I was hoping to be wrong, that she was still alive. I was hoping that they would definitely find her body, but I wasn't sure of it, because again, I felt very conflicted. I felt like the body was taken out of the water and it was not going to be found, and this is a last minute type of staged thing where they find the body again. So we will get into the reading now. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my camera, so bear with me, and here we go. All right, guys, so I'm going to start off the reading using the Dark Mirror Tarot. So I want to know what was going on that day. Again, the day that Naya Rivera went missing. What was going on in her life? Because I remember I said in the first reading that there was a stalker situation involved here. So we're going to find out exactly what Spirit has to say about it. So this is the Dark Mirror Oracle cards by Laura Sava. Okay. Okay. First card, addicted. Okay, so there's a potential that there was some form of addictions going on. This doesn't have to be drugs or substances. It could be alcohol. It could be as well as maybe, like, you know, just an addiction to the water, addiction to something that was unhealthy, because this is more of the shadow side of herself, the things that were unhealthy that day. Okay, is this me? It's like she was not sure of who she was with this card. Is this me? That's what I kind of get out of it. It's like a person that is not sure of exactly what they want, like a lot of doubts. Again, if you have a stalker that is harassing you, you could feel like that, you know, that you don't even know what you did to attract that, and why is it even happening. And then we got downcast pride. Okay, downcast pride. So again, I feel like this is somebody else that wanted to take her down, somebody that felt that she was very prideful for her achievements, somebody that didn't necessarily like her, they did not necessarily like her family at all. But I don't feel that this was about her family. I feel this was definitely more about Naya. And so we're going to pull out a couple more cards and see exactly what else was going on that day. The other card that I got here is the child I was meant to be. So I feel like since she was a child and thrown into the spotlight, what she's trying to say now, what her soul's trying to convey, is that she didn't feel in this life that she had the opportunity to be a child. She was thrown into the world of acting and was used for making money, okay? And a lot of people may not agree with this, but she was a child actor. And or actress. And so being a child actor or actress, it's like the family was okay with her being put into that because possibly she liked being in acting. But I feel like she grew up a little too soon. Maybe she was around people in the industry, experienced a lot of situations. So even if she, wasn't always in the spotlight, I feel like she definitely is saying now that, perhaps she didn't feel necessarily like she was able to live her childhood like a normal child would. She was always in front of the cameras, always on the spotlight. Parasite. That confirms to me it's an unhealthy situation. A stalker. This is someone that is latched onto you like a parasite would be, feeding off of your energy. An energy vampire. Something, again, is being confirmed here that there's a male energy that was parasitic. It was something that was very unhealthy. It was sick. Alone in the world. She felt very alone. People, maybe she didn't feel like she could come out and talk about this. That stalker, maybe she didn't feel like she could say anything about this situation and how she truly felt without being judged, because you know how the media is. They pick up a story and they run, and they just run like rampant with lies and fabrications, and they would have left her with a different possibility in her career. It would have been like almost like a stain in her career, and I feel like that's what she was trying to protect so much. Okay. Colorless angel. Again, I feel like this was definitely is pointing. Remember I said in that reading before that it was a stalker, and I felt he was very light-skinned, could be Caucasian or a light-skinned Latino. I feel, again, this is something that Spirit is confirming with this oracle cards. And then artificial heart. The person that did this to her, and again, I feel like the person that did this to her didn't have a heart. It's a cold-blooded person, okay? It's a homicide. That's what I feel like. I have to be very honest here. And then I have fragmentation. A fragmented soul is like someone, again, that when we talk about fragments, it's like a piece of us is left here in the physical world and a piece of us that is connected to spirit. And that's what Naya was. Even though she was alive at the time, she was here connected very much. Let me move my table so I can have a little bit more stability and it doesn't shake so much. The fact that she was here in the physical world and had one foot in the physical world, but also very connected, very intuitive to spirit and to the spirit realm. I feel like her soul came into this life with maybe like a part of her soul on the other side. See, the thing that people don't believe or don't understand is that when we come into the physical world, we're not just it's not just about our soul that's in our body, right? That is talking, communicating, that has a personality. We do leave a piece of ourselves on the other side. And when we talk about timelines, there's a lot of people that believe that we could potentially have other versions of ourselves in other spiritual realms and whatnot. So I feel like, again, she had one foot in this life, one foot on the other. That would explain the connection that she had to the water, the connection, and why it's very symbolic that she died this way, but it was not through an accident. If she was drowned and was murdered, it was definitely done. It was foul play, and it was done very purposely. Because I feel like, again, there was things that she was going to accomplish, possibly things that she even knew. And when you have dark souls here on this lifetime that do these heinous acts and that take people out before their time, it is sometimes allowed by the universe and by your own soul for you to be used as a vessel. Because, again, there are certain things that the world needs to see, to understand, and bring awareness to. Okay, so like for her soul, what I feel It's like she was very proud of her achievements here in the physical world. She was very proud of being the actress, being, you know, a daughter, being a mother, being a sister. She loved, you know, her family with everything, but she also didn't want to include them in this life of Hollywood. Like, even though she had a lot of accomplishments, she had a lot of happiness, I do not necessarily feel that her soul was entirely happy with everything that goes on in Hollywood. The cattiness, the pettiness, the competition, the rejection, because I feel like she did experience that. She did experience definitely the rejection here in the physical world. And so I do feel like although she experienced it, it was a growth factor for her. And I feel like this was not something that was going to make her suicidal at all. I definitely feel like, again, it was carried out very perfectly. And so we're going to get into it. A lot of people have asked, are the Riveras, Naya Rivera's family, are they going to get another group of people to investigate the case, like a second investigation, or will there be another investigation open, or will it just be closed? Will it just be closed? And I'm going to give you the energy that I feel here from Spirit, so that we can see what is actually going to be the outcome of this whole thing. Because again, I feel like the sheriffs and the investigators, they kind of just want to like close the chapter and wash their hands of it, because again, the manpower, the hours, the money, the resources due to COVID-19, all of that is factored into all of this. A lot of sword energy. We have the Nine of Cups, we have the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Six of Pentacles. So, and then I have the Five of Pentacles here. Again, a lot of decisions that have to be made. I feel like her mom is definitely not gonna, she's the Queen of Swords. In her mind, it's not okay, and she's gonna fight for her daughter to really find out what happened, because this is, again, there's a lot of questions here. The Two of Pentacles, again, decisions. But I definitely feel with the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords that there's definitely going to be some, I definitely feel like there is going to be someone looking into further, or there are going to be some kind of other information that may come in at a later time. It may not be now, but it'll come in at a later time is what I get. Okay, I definitely get that. So, I want to know what messages Naya has for us, okay? In addition to the Dark Mirror Oracle cards that I pulled, I want to see what other messages are coming through from her soul. Like, I don't need these. I already know. I still don't feel like she's at peace. I don't feel like her soul has crossed over. I feel like she's still stuck here in the physical world, and she's saying she was murdered. This was not suicide. She is very adamant about it. And if you don't believe me, again, you can just go through the other video, and a lot of people did tarot readings. A lot of people use their gifts and their intuition, and they feel the same. Look, Four of Pentacles definitely was even though this is a female, this is a male that is sitting very powerfully with money. And I had said in the previous reading, I saw a lot of male energy, and I felt like I also saw like a lot of money as well. I believe I said that. Queen of Swords. She wants her mom to open an investigation. There's deception. Look, Seven of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Okay, can't make this stuff up, guys. Let me just put my finger so you can see them. There's definitely lies about her death, and Naya wants justice. She wants justice, and she will have justice. Whoever did this is trapped in fear right now. They're very fearful with the Eight of Swords. They have a feeling that there's going to be some kind of breakthrough in this case. or somebody is, people are fighting. If this was a homicide, it was more than one person, but only one person carried out. There's a lot of arguments. I feel like her family is also going to be arguing with the police and the sheriff's department. They want an investigation done. And the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles is a message for her son. I feel like she's telling me that she wants Josie to, I believe I said his name right. I'm hoping I said his name right, to continue his education. I think that the parents, Naya's parents or her brother, someone in the family is going to get custody of the child, or will have a very important life, which she wants her child to have the best, and she wants him to be successful and be creative, because I feel like this little boy is going to definitely be someone that makes it onto TV, makes it onto the spotlight. He's very gifted, and I feel like I see musical influences, so I don't know, but I feel like her money, she wants the family to manage the money, whatever she had left. It's going to be something, there's going to be some legal battles that her mom and her brother have to go through, but I honestly feel like she wants this, whatever of her money is left, to go towards the son. She definitely wants that to go towards the son, is what I'm hearing. Okay? To the family. Great loss, a lot of mourning. People are going to mourn this. There's going to be like a online TV, maybe the Glee cast members come on and they do like a singing tribute to her. I know that they were all photographed, you know, on the lake itself, or the beach, but they were like photographed together. And then the Three of Wands, is like things that still are going to be accomplished by her on the other side. For her, it was all about still having like a lot of accomplishments. She doesn't want the mother to be like this, the Nine of Swords. She doesn't want her to go through this mourning. She wants her to know that she's going to be there. Her soul's going to be present through all of this transition. And the mother feels very much dead inside. She feels like hermit energy. She feels very lonely. She doesn't want her mom to feel like that. She says that life goes on, and she wants her mom to move and her brother to move on, and her child. The Four of Wands, and then the Fool. And I'm not going to show him anymore to the camera. I'm just going to read what I get here, so that way y'all can hear the messages that she's conveying to me. With the Four of Wands, I feel like for her, it's all about her soulmate is in heaven. She has someone on the other side that she is with, another guy that is passed. And she's also with the former Glee cast members that have passed. She is okay. Well, she's not there yet, but she's going to be there yet. Because they're showing me like she's been already in heaven, but she's earthbound. Okay, so I know that's going to sound very confusing. I'm not going to edit this out, because I said she was earthbound, and I feel she's earthbound. But even earthbound spirits can sometimes leave temporarily to the spiritual realm. But I feel like she has already gone over there and she's seen her soulmate, but she's back here stuck. That's what I'm trying to say. She's stuck here right now until her family gets the closure, until the burial takes place. Yeah, but there are other people on the other side, but I see her soulmate on the other side. Her happiness is on the other side. A lot of frustrations that the family's going to face, especially the mom. A lot of frustrations about life, about Josie. She's going to be very protective of that little boy and not wanting him to be near water. I feel like there's going to be a lot of fears that kind of take place. There's also a power struggle between Josie's father and the family. I don't know if he's going to want to step in and take custody of the child. There's definitely going to be some kind of battles here up ahead. Okay, a lot of messages being exchanged. The funny thing is that I feel like there's still going to be a lot of headlines and things that come out about her even after her passing. She's not one of these people that would typically go away and not, you know, and people just forget about her. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all. And again, a lot of darkness is going to be illuminated. She wants her other cast members to be careful. She says that they are not cursed, but there is heavy dark energy looming. She wants them, and she's going to come to one of them if she hasn't already. This is a female that was on the show. And there's going to be a dream that that woman has about her and a warning, because I feel like there's dark energy looming. You know, one of the other things is that, and this is just more of a conspiracy, it's not a part of this reading, and I maybe should not say it. You know how sometimes there are like former shows and all these cast members, and there are like serial killers out there that target and, you know, target individually one by one former cast members. We've seen movies like that, right? I'm not saying that that's happening, but there's just so much more to the story and to the other people that have died from the Glee cast. Okay, and that's all I can say. Money. So much money and a lot of heartbreak. So there's a lot of people that loved her that are heartbroken. I also wanted to talk about Tahj Mowry. I believe I said his name right, but if I didn't, you can correct me in the comments. I'm always bad at communicating that. Somebody asked me about him, you know, and I know that he felt, you know, he grew up, they were like sweethearts as children, you know, they were like, they had a special bond and connection. She is also going to visit his soul once she has fully crossed over into heaven, because I feel like she's already been, but she's coming back. She's still like earthbound, and that's why I feel her stuck here. But she's going to go to him in a message. I don't know if he's going to get a tattoo about her, but he needs to know that they were soulmates in this lifetime. And I know, and I feel like he does already realize that, but if he didn't, Tahj Mowry was definitely a soulmate to Naya Rivera, okay? That has to be known. And sometimes soulmates do not come together because of different contractual obligations and, again, life lessons and things that needed to be accomplished in this lifetime. So I feel like that was very important. I had to get out. There's going to need to be vigilance on that lake. There's going to be other accidents on that lake that will not be murders like Naya's situation. There will be accidents though. That lake has bad juju. Somebody told me it has something to do with a very evil, the lake Piru or whatever, however you use Piru. It means the devil, or it means something very dark. I don't remember in the comments that they left me, but I feel like there's going to need to be vigilance on that lake. There's going to be another either accident, a drowning situation. People need to be careful on the water. And I've said this before, be careful on the water. This year is not a year to play with. And again, I see these two cards when I pull them up. And I see someone like looking over a lake, right, with the two of wands. And then even though like some people interpret cards very differently than I do, I don't go by the traditional meanings. I use my intuition. But the fact that I got these pretty much close together with the Five of Pentacles, to me, this would mean to be very careful. Because there's like a bad energy on that lake itself. Very bad portals that are open, just bad energy. I don't know if anybody else has drowned on that lake, but there's like, it's like a lake of death is what Spirit is telling me. And it's not cursed, but it has portals. It has openings to darker places and dimensions. And just a darkness overall on that lake. I don't feel like they're going to close it down, even though they probably should. It's, you know, it's not going anywhere, but they need to be more careful. The company that, or whoever is responsible for those boats, for those pontoons boats or whatever, they need to put cameras on the boats. They need to take different precautions, maybe like a radio if they don't want to put boats on the boat, and check on that person, or have people that check on them every 30 minutes or so, right, to find out what's going on. If not, have a GPS location of the boat itself, so that way you can go and track that person on a jet ski or whatever and see what is going on, making sure that they're okay. I definitely feel like that needs to happen going forward. But there's definitely going to be a tribute on TV. I definitely feel Like, the people that loved her, the Glee cast members, some of them may do something else. Like I said, it may be on a TV, or it may be, you know, just an individual tribute that they do on social media. But there is going to be something done for Naya. It's a very sad situation. I feel like she will be okay. I feel like she has a lot of love and support on the other side, but they're allowing her to be here in the physical world, earthbound, temporarily earthbound, so that way she can get some healing, instant healing to her mom, to her brother, and to other people. But I keep hearing her say, Ray, there's going to be a lot of twists and turns on this case. There's going to be a little bit more developments for people not to believe everything that the media is saying as well. I do definitely feel like she is conveying that message. But she tells me it's very important for her mom to know that she is going to heaven. I don't know if her mom was a very religious or comes from a very religious background or Catholic system, but she is not going to hell. She is going to heaven, and she is okay, and she did not commit suicide. She wants that. She's very clear about that when she comes through. And it's not very often that I get to communicate with souls this early, but she is here very, very strongly, and she is very much wanting the mom to know that she did not commit suicide. This was not a suicide, and this was not an accident, the way that they are making it feel. So again, remember, you know, the cases that cannot always be solved, and the things that are, you know, documented as the way that they happen, if justice is not served here in the physical world, it is always served in the spiritual realm. And no matter these dark souls, how much they get their jollies and how much they go throughout life hurting people, eventually they are going to have and be confronted with their version of hell, their own version of hell on the afterlife. And there is hell to pay on the other side. And I've spoken about heaven and hell. I've been to both places. I've seen both places. And I can tell you they're very, very real. And it's not like the Bible depicts, but it's very, very dark and very, very awful in hell. That version of hell in the spiritual realm. So I definitely want, you know, that message to be put out there, that whoever did this to Naya, justice will be served. And that's what she says, and she is very adamant about that justice will be served. And again, I don't know if the family is going to sue someone, but there is legal battles up ahead for them, and I feel like many questions as well as to things. She wants them to keep a lot of her personal items, to not give them away. This would be her jewelry, her clothing, her shoes. I feel like the mom will hold on to a couple of things, and they may get rid of some of them, but she wants them to hold on to a lot of that stuff. And she wants the mom to always remind Josie, her son, of how good of a mom she was. And she wants Josie to know that she will always be there with him through thick and thin, through his tests at school, through his you know, his parties, his birthday parties, that she's not missing out. She wants the family to know. And I'm getting very emotional because this is very, very hard for me to even talk about stuff like that. So I'm glad my face is not even on the camera. But she is definitely saying, she's saying that she wants her little boy to know, her little sweet angel, that his mom is going to always be there with him every step of the way. And that their love and their bond is forever, and it's forever connected. And I'm sorry. She just wants them to know, wants Josie to know that she loves them unconditionally, and she gives him angel wings, and she puts angel wings around him because he's always going to be protected, is what she says. I'm sorry, this was such a difficult reading to do. The second reading, I didn't think I was going to get this emotional. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and many blessings to each and every one of you, and thank you for being here. Bye.